today. The whole makeup look is a little moody. By the way, this is one of the comfort hoodies. Ignore. Okay, my electric toothbrush was like spraying toothpaste everywhere at me. Now you guys know. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today's video is going to be my finale for my Rolling Project 10 pan for the year of 2024. I will be honest, I'm feeling a bit of just like yesterday hangover. I did post a get ready with me yesterday talking about how it was the 10th anniversary of my dad's passing, and I honestly did not feel like I would feel this affected this morning, but I feel just so drained of energy. And I actually had plans to film a different video today, and I just didn't have like the energy to like properly give to that. And sometimes it's a little easier for me to film project pan videos just because it takes a little less energy. I don't know how to explain it. I also am just kind of over my 2024 project pan, and I will at the end of this be introducing the products that I will be utilizing in my 2025 project pan. I may use, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I may use a couple of these before the end of the year. We've got 9 days left. I might reach for a couple of these. If I do, I will update you when I give my first update in my Rolling Project 10 pan. I am scaling back on projects this year. I am just going to be doing the Rolling Project 10 pan, and then I will do the Deck of Panning Project pan. I'm not gonna do the whole collection project pan, and I'm also don't think I'm gonna be doing No Pan Left Behind, simply because throughout my Imageddon series, which I'm having so much fun with, I do No Pan Left Behind every palette that I talk about in that series, so it's feeling a little bit repetitive, and I'm just not having as much fun with all the projects. So just a quick update on that, but we will be continuing on with a Rolling Project 10 pan, and I'm actually going to start with 12 products, and I'll get into why when we get into the introduction portion of this video. But if you're interested in seeing the couple products that I was able to finish before the end of the year, that was part of my 2024 project, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project panning content, palette themed content, or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love for you to consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. All right, we are gonna start this update with my, ooh, and that reminds me, I have to get my new Rowan quad set aside for the intro. Okay, we're gonna start with my Rowan 75 Degrees quad. I did not do a pan that palette this year. I did a pan that palette last year, and that just was not the project for me. But I thought it would be fun just to track progress on a Rowan quad. I absolutely love the Rowan quads. I've been raving about them for literal years on my channel, and I thought it would just be like an easier way to track progress. These are also 4 cream shadows, so obviously they are actually going to go bad more than likely faster than a lot of my powder shadows. So I rolled in I'm like, did my pan go away? Anyway, I rolled in my 75 Degrees quad because this was my oldest Rowan quad in my collection. And admittedly, I thought I would reach for this more than I did. I actually only ended up reaching for this a total of 51 times this year. I had hit the 50 use mark last update, and I only reached this one additional time since the last update, and I reached for these 2 shades combined. But we didn't do great. Did not do great on this. I actually think I will do better on my Rowan quad this coming year, just because the tones and the shades in the quad that I'm going to be rolling in are something that I feel like I can more easily incorporate into everyday looks. Like these 2 shades were pretty similar and also a little bit darker, so I just found myself like it was a little bit difficult to reach for on an everyday basis, which isn't necessarily what I had originally thought. I thought it would be a lot easier. But to quickly go through shade for shade, so this shade up here ended up being my most used shade of the year. I reached for this a total of 31 times. The shade right next to it here, I reached for 24 total times. I reached for this bottom shade 25 total times, and I reached for this shade right here 9 total times. Going into this project, this shade down here was actually my most reached for shade. I'm shocked that I only reached for this 9 times because this used to be my favorite shade in this entire palette. I will say I've been into like a satin taupey sort of shade, and I really enjoyed using both of these. I wish this one was slightly lighter so that there was a bit more of a difference between those two. And I think that could have been really beautiful. And I believe that I would have gotten a little bit more use out of this palette had that been the case. I have now owned this palette since either 2020 or 2021. So this is going to make its way to the garbage. I actually, like, the shadows are like dried out. Like, it's time for this to go. But I'm bidding it a kind farewell. I really enjoyed my time with this. I won't be repurchasing the 75 degrees quad, but I actually am interested in like the 54 degrees or like the more cool toned one. This was my favorite at one point. Maybe not actually, maybe it's always been 1111, but I really enjoyed using this. I had used it quite a bit prior to pulling it into this year. I would guesstimate that this has gotten close to 100 uses in its lifetime, which honestly still doesn't sound like a lot, especially when you consider, okay, this is what's interesting to consider. Granted, sometimes when I reached into this, I would reach into like one use would be more than one shade, but reaching into this like 100 times in its lifetime, I want to say these are like $42, $44, $48, so that's like almost 50 cents every time I reached into this. That's crazy to think about. Anyway, this is rolling out and this is like actually getting decluttered. All right, one more thing that I cannot find my Fresh Sugar lip balm. Like, I literally can't find it, so I don't have an update on that. It's not empty, but I also can't find it, and who knows if I ever will. Maybe one day when I'm vacuuming my car, I'll find it under my driver's seat. But another product that does not have exciting use at all, because I have not reached for this at all. This is the last time I updated you, and I've just really been struggling with this one. This is the NARS Sunkissed Laguna Bronzing Cream. I like this product a lot. I used to love it. I just have quite a few more cream bronzers now in my collection than when I first purchased this. And also I found that I have not been self-tanning. I definitely got more dark this summer from the natural sunlight, and I was reaching for this some in the summer, but I also was focused on my Chanel bronzer in my Graveyard project pan, so I still didn't reach for this as much as I wanted to. And I did not make great progress with this one. This one is also getting pretty old in my collection. I would potentially like to roll this into like Deck of Panning as a prompt, or if I finish one of the other bronzers that I'm looking to focus on in the beginning of the year in my 2025 project, perhaps I would roll this in towards the spring summertime. But this is a pretty pigmented cream bronzer, and it's just way too dark for me if I'm not self-tanning, and if it's not the summertime. So big fail on this. Another product that I have not completed, but I will be rolling this into my 2025 project because I'm just so curious what these Merit blush sticks look like as an empty. This one specifically is in the shade Beverly Hills. I have worn away like a bit of the dome, but not great progress. It is a very, very, very wearable shade though. Just like a very light flush to the cheeks that you can really, really sheer out. On days that I'm not wearing a ton of makeup, I feel like this just gives such a beautiful flushed glow to the cheeks. Granted, I find that I reach for this more in like the spring, summertime. I find that I'm reaching for more pigmented products in the winter time. But I am going to be rolling this into my 2025 project pan because I want to know what a Merit blush empty is looking like. I know some of you guys do too because I've seen your comments. Okay, I'm really mad at myself for this one, and I could have called it. I could have called it. I told you guys I have finished a Becca gloss before, and it's like the gloss that just keeps on glossing. I actually don't want to put it over top of my lips right now because I want to just keep matte lips for the rest of this video. But this is the Becca Chrissy Teigen Glow Gloss in the shade in the shade Beach Bum. And if I like swirl this around, I can tell that like a lot of the product left is really just like product that's coating the walls. Like I want to say the product is actually probably settling right about here. Now, admittedly, especially the last several months, I haven't been great about reaching for this, but I do feel like I put forth good effort into this lip gloss. And I'm so mad that it's not an empty. This is something that I don't want to declutter. I know it's so old, you guys. I get it. But it still smells exactly like it did when I first got it. I do think this is a really beautiful nude shade, but it is a little bit warmer. So I don't find myself gravitating towards a shade like this time of year. Spring, summer, yes. Although I do still like a nude lip. I'm not going to declutter this. I am going to try to finish this at some point. It's not rolling into my 2025 project pan, but perhaps I could sneak this into a prompt for the Deck of Panning project pan. So another fail. All right, one last product to update you on before we get to my 2 empties, and it is my NYX Bare With Me concealer. Now, I did just roll this in a couple of months ago, and I told you guys that I did not think that I was going to be finishing this concealer, but I wanted to just see how far I could get, and this is something that I thought maybe I would try and finish up in 2025. I will say I am rolling a different concealer into the introduction of this video just because it's older, and I actually love this concealer so much. This is something I absolutely will be repurchasing after I finish. So I wanted to focus on like a couple of, well, at least one older concealer, work that out of my collection. The one that I'm rolling in I find to be quite similar to this, and actually there's a second one maybe that I would try and work my way through before I ultimately finish this, because this is something I would repurchase, and I don't want to finish this and then like go out and repurchase it right away and then, you know, not really make a dent in my makeup inventory. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I am really proud of the progress that we made. When I rolled this in, I was right here, and now we're all the way up here. So I have, you know, less than half of this product left. This is a beautiful concealer, under $10 at the drugstore, and I find this very comparable to the Kosas concealer. And I get the Kosas has a doe foot, but my Kosas packaging always breaks. So personally, this packaging works much better for me than the Kosas. I've had 2 Kosas break on me the exact same way, like the lid cracks, and no, I'm not like aggressively twisting it. So I find this so comparable to the Kosas, and it's so much less expensive, and the packaging is so much more reliable. I also find this very comparable to the Tower 28 Serum Concealer, and this one is also less expensive. This one also I feel like provides a little bit more coverage than the Tower 28 Concealer, and I find the Tower 28 creases on me slightly more than this one does. So I still have Tower 28, that's not the one rolling in, but I also maybe would want to finish that before finishing this, because again, I will be repurchasing. Ramble, 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 ramble. Okay, we can start with this very unexpected empty, and let me explain. This is my ColourPop Super Shock shadow in the shade Ritz, and I had repressed this, and I will say there's like some crumbly bits still here. I've tried to like it's just a disaster. This I had repressed, and I will say I had repressed, I re-hit a pan, and the repressed amount of product that I have was very thin. But I found I was using this quite a bit since the last update. I feel like I was wearing less makeup to work lately and just kind of doing like Tarte Smarty Pants, the matte shadow in the crease, and this all over the lids, or sometimes even this all over the lids. Like I really was just going one and done this month. But every time I use this, I think this formula is getting dried out, because it would start like really crumbling away and just like kind of flying everywhere. So because of that, like it just kept crumbling, and ultimately I have an empty. I promise I didn't like scrape anything off into the trash. Like I really, okay, my pan just flew out. This maybe explains everything. My pan had fallen out many a time. Like, this is done. This is done. I'm happy to be done with it. And actually, after finishing this, I had brought, I had started using, I want to grab it, this shade back out, and this is Flower Child by ColourPop. This is so pretty. I like this one even better than Ritz. This one is a little bit more warm toned, and it has a little bit more of like pigment to it, but it is so pretty just with like one matte shadow in the crease. And so, ooh, now I'm like, do I actually want to roll a 13th product in to this project? Probably not. Probably not. No, I'm not doing that. I've already like, I'm already kind of over panning. I'm not going to do that, but I will like unofficially be trying to work my way through this next year. But very excited to have an unexpected empty to add to my year-end empties. And then the final product I have to update you on before we get into the intro is my Fenty Beauty foundation stick. I'm so glad to have another foundation empty at the end of the year. So with the Fenty Beauty foundation, once you get to the point where it's like flush with the packaging, you actually can keep twisting and it pushes the rest of the product up. I'm actually realizing I probably have like the thinnest layer of like foundation here, but it's okay. I'm absolutely over this. I really enjoyed this in the beginning, but this just does not look good on my skin anymore. Or I feel like sometimes when you're not consistently using a product, you can kind of lie to yourself in one of two ways. You can think like, a product really isn't that bad and like you do like it, or you can think like you don't really like a product, but then through consistent use, maybe tweaking a few ways that you use the product, you can really come to love a product. Or through consistent use, you can realize, okay, actually I just don't really care for this product that much. I don't think that this is a bad product. I just found that over time, I feel like this was looking heavier and heavier on my skin, which is a stick foundation. And I do like to have a stick foundation for travel. I actually have the ABH one right now, which is a little bit more sheer. And I was telling you guys, because of my tretinoin experience, I wasn't able to give a good review on the ABH one, but I've cut way back on my tretinoin to kind of let my skin, you know, not be so dry and flaky, heal a little bit. And I have been really enjoying the ABH one. It is very sheer, but it does kind of just like lightly smooth everything out, and I have been enjoying that. So what I'm getting at is I'm very happy to have this as an empty, but I won't be repurchasing the Fenty stick foundation. It didn't turn into a love, a holy grail, or a favorite, so it's working its way out of my collection. And that is my finale for my 2024 Rolling Project 10 pan. Sorry, I totally forgot one product. I have my Rose Inc Opalescent Cream Highlighter, which looks like this. A really, really good pan going on this. I will say I wasn't as good about reaching for this past update as I was the update before. So shame on me for that. Shame on me. This is something that I'm not going to immediately roll into my 2025 project, but it will also be kind of in the back of my mind as a product I'm focused on, maybe even like unofficially project panning this, or trying to roll this into my Becca panning project pan, but it's not going to instantly come into 2025 as a focused product. But I am still hopeful and confident that I could finish this next year, and I really hope to, because it would be so exciting to finish a full-size cream highlight. That would be so exciting, and I think this is a beautiful shade. Now let's get into the introduction for my 2025 project 10 pan, but actually it'll be 12 products, and the reason being is there are a couple of products that truly are going to be long haul products, and I'm going to call it a Rolling Project 10 pan plus 2 blushes, because blush takes absolutely forever. And with my Rolling Project 10 pan, for the most part, my goal is going to be to still try and empty out products. I don't want to completely lose sight of using up products in my makeup collection as I scale back some from project panning, but I also don't want to feel like panner's fatigue. I want to have fun with my makeup collection, so I'm not going to be putting too much pressure on myself to like finish these products right away. I'm hoping to have progress to update you guys on every month so that it's still fun to watch. But really the reason I want to keep this project and to have more long haul products in this project is to still keep a bit of that panner's mentality and to still remind myself how long it truly takes to get through certain makeup products. For me, blush, bronzer, highlight, like some of those products, even sometimes like concealer, takes forever to get through. So I want to still have this project to remind myself, girl, it takes a while to get through your makeup. So that being said, we'll talk about the 2+2s. These are my 2 blushes that I'm going to be focused on, but blush out of everything I find the most difficult to pan, and I thought about not including blush, but these 2 I just want to track the entirety of the year. Like, I'm just curious, can I even wear the Dome Away on a mini blush throughout the course of a year, and can I finish a Merit blush in the course of a year, or a cream blush? So I picked the Kosas Blushes Life mini blush in the shade Bliss. And again, this is not going to be like, I am not going to be putting pressure on myself that I have to use this like 10 to 15 times a month. No, I just want to track my progress for fun on this one. But this one, there it is swatched right there. Like, this is not a very pigmented blush. It is definitely maybe a little bit more pink than I would have wanted, but I can really sheer this out just because I like more of like a nude or like a peachy blush. But I can really sheer this one out, and I feel like it gives such a beautiful flushed sheen to the cheeks. And I wanted to go with a mini blush because if I know myself, and if I went with a large like normal size blush, I would get demotivated. Like, I wouldn't be excited to like track my progress. So I don't plan to finish this. I don't plan to even finish this year. I'm just curious like what I can get this to look like by the end of 2025. And then for science, I need to know what the Merit blush sticks look like as an empty, so I'm gonna keep going with this one. But again, I don't wanna put too much pressure on myself. I am kind of hopeful that I could finish this maybe like halfway through the year, but maybe I can't. Maybe there's a ton of product left in this component. Who knows? Hopefully we'll find out together though. So those are the two like bonus products in this project. Now let's get into the 10 others. So this one is also going to be something that's just kind of going the whole year. As I mentioned, I was going to focus on a Rowan Beauty quad again this year, and this is the Mood Forever quad, and I'm so much more excited to reach for this quad just because these three shadows should be really easy to reach for on an everyday basis. I do think I will struggle a little bit with this shadow down here just because I'm not the biggest reds reacher, and this definitely has like a redness to it. But if I really heavily focus on this throughout the month of February, that could give me a jump start. I also think this will be a really beautiful shade in like the fall time, or honestly even the summer. Goal with this, I would love to see this. I would love to see this at least with 100 uses by the end of the year. This one is significantly less older than the Rowan 75 degrees. So I'm not even certain, like depending on how the shadows feel at the end of 2025, I don't even know if I would for sure be decluttering this one, but I would love to see this with 100 uses. Love to see at least a pan, hopefully a large pan in all 4 of the shadows. And I'm just excited. I feel like this color story I just vibe with more. So I'm really excited to track my progress with this. Then I kind of have, or I try to have something for like every category. So for primer, I am rolling in my Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Glow Serum Priming Face Serum. I've said many times the last like, you know, year and a half that I've really come to figure out like what I'm looking for in a primer. I love primer. I use primer every single time I do my makeup, but my preference for primer is either a gripping primer or sometimes a pore filling primer, but most importantly, a gripping primer. Hydration I can get from other hydrating products. I can get it from my morning skincare routine. I can add a moisturizer, whatever it might be. So while I do really enjoy this product, and actually this one gives this really beautiful sheen to the skin too. So like for the summertime, this would be so pretty. I really enjoy this. I've talked about this being like a favorite primer. I just feel like, actually there's still a chance I would buy this. There's still a chance I would buy this at some point again, but I'm relatively like I've made really good progress on this. This is currently going in my Shop My Stash, and I feel like I could finish this within the first couple months of the year, and it would be that product that kind of just like gives me that bump of motivation, like, hey girl, like we already have a makeup empty and it's, you know, not too far into the year. Once I get through some of my other hydrating primers, I could see this being the like standalone hydrating primer in my collection just because it does give this really beautiful glow to the skin too. And it's just so thin. I really do enjoy this, but this is going to be, it'll be a treat for me to finish up and use. Then I can focus on getting out some of my other hydrating primers that I wouldn't necessarily be repurchasing, and then we can come back to this. So that is rolling into the project. And then I have my Auric Glow Lust. Now I did include this in my 25 products I want to pan in 2025. I think this is going to be a very challenging product. I have a little bit of like windowing right here, like just the teeny tiniest amount. So I really think that I have a lot of products to go in this. It took me years to finish the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, but the more and more old and aged my skin gets, the more I really crave a bit of a glow. So even to use this under, you know, foundation and just finding fun ways to use this product, I am hoping to maybe finish this up before the end of the year. This is also getting quite old in my collection, and it was a very pricey product. I don't necessarily know that I would run out and repurchase this product again through consistent use. I feel like I'll be able to kind of make my mind up a little bit more on that, but I have so many other glowy products similar to this currently in my collection, and so I'll be curious to see too how this compares to like the Say Dewy Glow, like kind of my thoughts there. But I'm excited to get consistent use out of this and hopefully finish this up. All right, dropped a product. For concealer, this is the oldest concealer I believe currently in my collection. It's the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. This is a beautiful concealer. I do find this somewhat similar to the one that I was talking about, the NYX as well. And actually, I have this on my eyes this morning and I was putting it on and I was like, maybe I could also replace the NYX with this. This is even a little bit thinner. I really like the LYS. I forgot as I was putting it on. I was like, okay, I do really, really enjoy this. But I would love to finish this up and then finish up a couple more concealers. Maybe, again, by the end of this, I will just think the NYX is, you know, similar enough. But this is so thin underneath the eyes and provides beautiful coverage as well. I think this will be a treat to use, and I need to move this out of my collection because it's getting so old. And it would be nice also to have a concealer empty, hopefully in the beginning parts of the year. I can't exactly tell. Yeah, I don't know. I can't exactly tell like how much product I have left. I don't get great windowing, but I've also had this for a while and used this a lot in its lifetime with me. So we'll see what that starts to look like as we work our way through it. I wanted another kind of give me product. You know, something to start the year off right with some good empties, some quick empties. So for foundation, I'm gonna be rolling in my Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Coverage. I was just talking about how I didn't think I loved this foundation, but I switched and I've been using this brush to apply it. This is the Sigma Multitasker, and I've been really loving the way that this sits on the skin. Now, this is not something that I think I'll finish and instantly go out and purchase, but if this were to be on sale, sometimes I've seen this on sale during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty for half off. I, at this moment, do feel like I would purchase this again. It's actually the foundation I have on today, so if you don't like my makeup, then I'm sorry. So I always feel awkward being like, I really like this and this is what I have on today, and then I feel like someone's gonna be like, girl, you look crusty, dusty, and musty. But anyway, I do this is like me typing, by the way. Anyway, I think that this could easily be an empty by the first update, which would be really exciting. Again, we gotta have a few gimme products, especially as we start the year. So kind of speaking of gimme, my powder that I'm rolling in is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh. I actually recently repressed this. It's a little bit, like, it wasn't the best repressing, so there's a little bit of powder on the outer parts here. My goal with this is going to be to empty this out. I think I could do so within the first month or two, just because, again, I did just repress this. This powder is very thin in the packaging, and I also reach for powder every single day. Once finishing this, there are some other powders that I would like to get through. Powder is not something, like, I love to have a good powder. I feel like I'm very picky with my powders, but powder is also not something I get super excited by, so I don't feel like I need to have this large powder collection. So once finishing this, I would like to work my way through a couple other powders in my collection, but I would return back to this. Great value, again, drugstore product. I believe this is under $12, and it's one of those powders that doesn't like completely take the life away from your skin. I feel like your skin still looks like skin. This actually cracked and broke on me, and I instantly went out and purchased it when I first started using it because I loved it so much. Now I have like a couple of Bare Minerals powders, which I do like, but I have two of the same, so I'd like to at least get through one of those. I also have my Kosas, which I love and would also always have in my collection. Do I have other pressed powders right now? Maybe I don't have as many powders as I think, but anyway, that is rolling in. Bronzer. Okay, I went back to look at my 2025 plan to pan list, and I was like, girl, what were we thinking? I thought this year we were trying to be a better planner, and then we said we were gonna pan like 5 bronzers plus, possibly. But we're gonna start out with this one. And as I was like getting ready today, I was like, is my goal with this to like hit a pan in the center? Is my goal with this just to use this up? It's the NARS Sunwash Laguna bronzer, and this is my oldest bronzer in my collection. I want to say I've had this since like 2017, 2018. I did drop it, that's why there's this pan up in the corner here, and I will say finally I'm starting to see like the imprint or the embossing is like completely worn away in the center, but I think I could work on this all year and it still won't be empty. So I would like to work on this for the next several months, and I'm giving myself permission to roll this out. You know, if I put a good 3 months of use into it and feel like I need something new, like one of the other 17 bronzers I said I was gonna pan this year, I'm giving myself permission to roll it out before we hit necessarily like another something in this. Maybe my goal should just be to like start by like expanding the pan up here. Maybe that should be my goal. Or maybe I'm gonna focus my brush up here to see how much we can expand. I'm also slightly worried that like this is just gonna break because of the way, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about it, but that is gonna be the bronzer we're gonna start the year off with. Highlight, my goal with this is simply to hit pan. I was kind of like looking through my highlight collection and I was like, do I roll in my Vesca highlight because that has the largest pan? But then I remember last year I panned Becca Rose Quartz and it was like basically and it was a mini. And I swear it had pan on it going into the year. I swear, I could be wrong. But I had to primarily focus on that highlight the entirety of the year in order to just finish up the mini. So I just want to hit a pan. And I decided to roll in my Laura Mercier highlighting powder in Rose Glow because this is one of my most subtle highlights in my entire collection. So I will find this very easy to reach for every day, like in my work life. Sometimes if it's like a more beaming highlight, I don't like to wear it to work. Like I don't like to like blind my patients as they're like walking through the door. So we're gonna go with the Rose Glow highlight from Laura Mercier. It has this beautiful rosy glow to it, which I also am a little bit more cool complected. So usually I like something that's a little bit more pink toned. I also feel like there is disturbance there. I also feel like the pan in this is probably pretty thick. So I think this is gonna take good effort. Maybe it'll take us right up until the end of the year, but I'm always looking to add more pans to my collection too, because you know, sometimes it's like you empty out a product and then it goes to the empties bin and it doesn't necessarily make your makeup collection look more well loved, but having like quite a few pans spread throughout products does make your makeup collection look well loved. So goal with this is simply to just hit a pan. Then I have my Ilia eyeliner in the shade Dusk. I was working on this all year this year, and I honestly think I could work on this all year again, and I do not think, like I don't believe this will be an empty. It is a pretty stiff formula, but I do feel like it lasts a good amount of time on the waterline. I really enjoy having this eyeliner. I think this is well worth the money, like well worth the money for this. And I do have some other brown eyeliners in my collection that I would want to get through before repurchasing this. I'm also interested in Urban Decay's 24/7 like glide on liner in the shade Whiskey. Like I would like to try that for a brown. I also have, I have a lot of browns, so it's not like I would finish this and go repurchase it immediately. However, I find it well worth the money and I still don't think I'll finish it in this year, but we're gonna try. And then the lip liner, I still also really want to finish my ColourPop lip liner in Malibu Beach. I do think we're so close. Like I think that'll happen. So I wasn't giving myself that much of a give me, but I need to sharpen this. Okay, the Vive Velvet Sands, I have also tried to pan in projects in the past. It is a really beautiful, more warm toned nude, but still like not so warm. Like sometimes I can be really picky about my nudes. So okay, this is how much liner we have left. This is how much we have left, and goal is going to be to finish this. This is gonna be the one lip liner I hope that well, two, because the ColourPop lip liner will be finished in 2025. So I do hope I finish at least 2 lip liners. I've been getting a lot more into lip liner this year, so I'm hoping this can motivate me to continue on with the lip liner train. But that is going to be another product we're rolling in. And then the 10th and final product I am rolling in to start the year off with is the Lawless Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Plumping Mask. And this is in the shade Cherry Vanilla. I already have another one of these on backup. Lawless was kind enough to send this over. I always, like, my heart always skips a beat when I get a Lawless package. I do feel like I have a decent dip going on this. However, in the plan to pan comment, someone said, I thought I was gonna hit pan for months and like the packaging goes super deep. So we will see. What I love about this lip mask specifically is you can put it on. It kind of does give you that really minty, tingly sensation, but it also makes it feel like it's hydrating your lips, which is so bizarre to me because usually you think like minty, tingly lip plumping is going to like harm your lips. I never feel that way with this one, but I do forget to remind myself to reach for this. So I just need to, as I sit down and apply my eye primer every day, reach for this as well. Like I just need to make that a habit and a routine. And I'll be really curious to see if I can get myself to consistently use this. How long will it take to finish this up? After that, you guys, that is going to wrap up and conclude my finale for the 2024 project pan, and that is what we are starting 2025 with. So the next time I will catch you for an update for my rolling project 10 pan will be February 1st of 2025, which is wild to think about. I would love to know what products you are focused on finishing off right away in 2025. What is like on your radar? Let a girl know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.